One man who says Reverend Jackson influenced his life joining us now. Welcome, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, and good morning.
Good morning.
I know you entered politics in the twilight, really, of Reverend Jackson's life, but yesterday in a statement you called him a mentor. Can you elaborate on your relationship with him and why you consider him a mentor?
Yeah, first of all, of course, my condolences to Mrs. Jackson, to the Jackson family, their children and grandchildren. This is a tough day for not just our city, but for the globe. Reverend Jackson was just this incredible human being who I believe embodied what, the Spirit of Christ charged us to do, which is to respond to the least of these. When I first came into contact with Reverend Jackson, the way he just embraced my humanity, he embraced what he saw in me, which was an incredible amount of potential. And, his life will forever be marked in my family's life as a clear marker of when my life began to shift and change politically, as a father, as a husband, and of course, as a human being.
Is there anything that he shared with you or imparted on you that you now take with you? Is there any memory that stands out?
Yeah, there's so many of them. My fondest memory is when I had a chance to spend some time with him in Salem. And as we were preparing for that weekend to commemorate that incredible moment in our nation's history, he talked about how by the time they got to the Edmund Pettus Bridge, how difficult it was to organize in communities to challenge folks to stand up. And of course, that Bloody Sunday revolutionized, quite frankly, how we resisted racism and hatred in this country. And what he said to me is that, when the victory is won, there will be many who will claim to have been on that bridge. But he said that in reality, it's difficult to organize people towards justice. But he said, just stick to it, because even if it's just a few of us to get to that bridge and then therefore cross it, the impact and the long-lasting impact that it will have on humanity will be determined based upon how committed we are to justice. So I'll always remember that as an organizer, that the small things that you do can lead to transforming this country.
Let's talk about, the fact you were an organizer, obviously the civil rights movement, he was a leader in that. Is there someone, is there another Reverend Jackson waiting in the wings right now, or is his passing leaving a void that might not ever be filled? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, certainly I would not, attempt to identify someone who can replicate such a remarkable human being. I mean, he was literally one of a kind. But I think where I draw strength is that because he has left such an indelible mark on so many different people, there are multiple Reverend Jacksons, and they exist in multiple lanes. I mean, he transformed the way corporate CEOs saw equity. Before it was seen as a dirty word by the current administration. He understood the connection between labor and faith. He understood community-based organizations. He was the first executive director of the Kenwood Oakland Community Organization 50 years plus ago. So I believe that when I look at all of the different disciplines and industries where he has had impact, Reverend Jackson's insight and his instincts and his love spread throughout all of our disciplines and our industries.
I was just thinking back to a couple of weeks ago, we were at the Rainbow Push Breakfast, you spoke there, and there was a lot of his own words about the hope and to keep that hope alive even in the times that we're in right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, Reverend would always say, you have to say it to the people as if it's the first time they've ever heard it. And then he would leave my presence and say, keep hope alive. And hope is alive, right? I mean, you're seeing resistance all over this country, around the planet, to tyranny. Reverend Jackson, in many regards, is the embodiment of today's progressive movement. He talked about a single-payer healthcare system. He talked about public education. He understood the values of working people. And so the progressive movement as we know it, whether it's a Mamdani in New York or Karen Bass in Los Angeles, it's Reverend Jackson's platform that we are still working towards achieving.
we have been, over the past 24 hours, speaking to so many people who knew Reverend Jackson, worked alongside him, who were influenced by him. And many of them said, you know, without Reverend Jackson, Dr. Martin Luther King, and many others, that Harold Washington never would have been elected into office, that President Barack Obama never would have been elected into office. Do you feel that one of the reasons you're the mayor of Chicago today is also directly related to the work done by Reverend Jackson? And with that, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, are you going to run again?
Oh, this would be a great time to discuss that. Look, he was obviously a pioneer in so many regards, and absolutely he changed the game of politics, right? Reverend Jackson's run opened up the lane for someone like Senator Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. So many folks across the globe have drawn inspiration from his run. I'm not mayor without him. One fond memory of Reverend, when I was organizing on behalf of families in this city, fighting for good public schools, he said, you know, son, if you got a haircut and put on a suit, you just might become, you know, a good politician one day. So in honor of Reverend Jackson, I got my hair cut, put on a pretty decent suit. I'm not mayor without him.
Are you going to run again?
Well, I mean, we'll get to that when that time is right. Today, we're just going to celebrate the life and legacy of our dear brother, Reverend Jackson.
All right, we look forward to continuing the conversation. We're a year out from the 2027 election, so we're getting there. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing
You're welcome.
Your thoughts on Reverend Jackson as we, as you can see around us, continue to honor his life.
It is my pleasure.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
You're welcome.